Hello guys, my name is Anna and I vlog daily from Ukraine since the start of brutal Russian invasion. So if you want to know more about real life in Ukraine during these challenging times on the way to our victory and you support Ukraine, please subscribe. This is the easiest way to demonstrate your solidarity and spread the important information. And today I am going to speak about Russian ruble and how dramatically it falls. So honestly, as every Ukrainian YouTuber channel has a pool of Russian trolls, I have to make a disclaimer, something that modern social media like so much. This information may be very sensitive and unpleasant for those who support Russia. So please fast forward. Anyway, I know there are no such real people on the channel and we've got a perfect community who understand that sanctions are working, and today Russian ruble hit the lowest since the start of war. And this is important because this demonstrates the devastation in Russian economy and how weak Russia is actually, despite the fact that Putin, of course, denies this inflation and other things. So what happened? According to the reports from different trustworthy sources, Russian ruble during this 7-8 months of this year lost than 50% of its value. And today it costs like you have to pay 100 rubles for $1 and 110 rubles for €1. Think about that. And it is also a very good argument to the people who say Russia is strong, you can never defeat Russia. I personally believe you don't need to be an economist to understand. Of course, there is a direct connection between the strength of the country, its economy, and the rate of its currency. If the country is strong, its currency is strong. If country is weak, its currency gets weaker, weaker, and weaker. And that's what we see in Russia. That's what we saw in Soviet Union when it was forbidden to buy dollars, and back in Soviet times, people could get in jail for having American dollars in their home. Why? Because perhaps they could not go through the competition and they created lots of artificial restrictions to stabilize Soviet ruble. But nowadays, Russia does not have these options, and of course, sanctions work. And this also demonstrates that most of the expenses inside Russia are sent to the military purposes and military production, and serious limitations to their export. And I'm hugely grateful to those of you who support Ukraine and who do not buy or allow companies that are still on Russian market to operate in your countries. I know there are precedents. In Ukraine, we block them severely, and I'm really grateful if you're like, stop buying the product that you liked, or you report, because come on, with this money that this sometimes even like companies from democratic countries continue earning in Russia, they actually fuel the war and they give money for the matters of Ukrainians, because most of Russian economy is now working on war. So less of the export, more of expenditures on the military led to the fact that Russian ruble costs so little, and like it costs, I guess, like 37 coins in Ukrainian hryvnia, and we are a country that was attacked. So think about that. And once again, 100 rubles for just $1. Don't tell me we cannot defeat them. That's obvious. The empire is dying. That's obvious, just as this pathetic image of Putin. You can see it, you can recognize it. I'm sure there are no people on planet who look at Putin and think, oh my God, he is so strong. He's pathetic with his buttocks in his cheeks, with his image of a macho wearing like $20,000 jackets when there are no toilets in cities that have millions of population in Russia. And many examples that I am not going to enumerate here, but I do hope that Russian ruble will continue to fall, and that will be a vivid demonstration for those countries that still support Russia or tend to think because they believe that this is a superpower. because many, especially countries in the south and countries in the east, liked Soviet Union and its communist authoritarian regime, and they see Russia as the heir of the evil empire, but for them it's not an evil empire and they believe in its trends. No, this is total fake. Russia is fake. They don't have strong army, they don't have strong economy. What they have is a population ready to sacrifice everything. This is what actually makes them stand. Because if similar sanctions were applied to any of other countries, if we had similar limitations with our currency, trips, possibilities to work abroad, I don't know, possibilities to get information from the sources that we want, all of us would protest. All of us would, I don't know, organize serious strikes, revolutions, change regimes. But Russians, they like it. Kinda something inherently wrong is in their lifestyle, in their consciousness, that is passed from generation to generation, and they like authoritarian to totalitarian regimes, misery and pain. Once again, if you look into Russian literature that so many people quote, it stopped somewhere in the 19th century, because not many of you will name me a super influential, popular, globally interesting Russian author of the 21st century. But even in the 19th century, all of that literature is about misery, darkness, poverty, no like just happiness or something, romance, but in the majority of cases it's just like intoxicating darkness. And one of the philosophers in Ukraine that I like said, most of Russian literature describes the pleasure one receives from the process of his degradation. I think it beautifully describes what Russia is, and if you agree with me, please subscribe, because lots of people are not yet subscribed, and each of your likes, each of your shares and your subscriptions help make more information about Ukraine available in English on YouTube. And I believe still we are losing this informational war, because come on, there are dozens of Russian vloggers with millions of subscribers and not so many in the Ukrainian army. So I'm really grateful for your support and for your subscriptions. Anyway, let's observe what happens to Russian ruble in future. I know some like the way we pronounce the way ruble. In Ukrainian, that will be ruble. Ruble. I don't like even the name and the look and of course the meaning of Russian money. And once again, remember, this is a really good argument for those who believe Russia cannot be defeated. 100 rubles for just $1, 110 rubles for just €1, and lots of rubles for just 1 hryvnia after the country was attacked. And hryvnia is our currency for those who don't know. Anyway, Russia is getting weaker, but Russians are ready to sacrifice and they actually don't need much. So it is important to continue our counter-offensive and get back all the territories, because as long as this war continues, I'm convinced the whole world is in danger. Thank you once again for your support. Thank you for celebrating my birthday yesterday, and we've reached 80 kilobytes subscribers. That is a huge present to have such a friendly community. Join us if you're not yet a member. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons, wishing me all the good. Introduce yourself to our merch, and please subscribe to my Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and join my Discord community. I'm really active on all of these platforms because there are many things you have to know about Ukraine, and I'm so grateful you want to. Slava Ukraini!